Did you know that glass takes 1 million years to decompose? Hey guys, so today I want to talk about an entrepreneur who's made millions doing something really amazing that not many people have done in America, and that is glass recycling. You know, every single day we throw away so many reusable materials without even thinking about it. We label the things as waste and we wait for someone else to come and solve the problem. Mostly everything ends up in a landfill or a recycling center, and in a recycling center a lot of materials also go to waste to end up in a landfill. The interesting thing about change is change never comes from those who have the most resources. No, real change comes from those who want it the most, who want to change the world the most, that they can't wait for someone else to do it. And that's what makes this story so beautiful. In 2020 in New Orleans, two college students looked at a bottle of wine. You know, that's how every amazing story starts. They looked at a bottle of wine and they asked, what is going to happen to this bottle once we use it up? And once they found out what happens to it, they didn't wait for someone else to come and solve the problem. They took an initiative and a leap of faith and got right down to solving the problem that they thought was most necessary at that time. You see, most people will look at a problem and they would think of all the obstacles in the way, especially in this context, glass recycling. It is a huge market, and many of the countries like Switzerland or Germany, they are recycling glass more than 80% of the ones produced. And America, it's about 33%. That is we're pretty far behind in glass recycling and recycling in general, and being mindful about our waste. And this entrepreneur, they looked at all the obstacles. There was no infrastructure, there was no government support, especially in New Orleans for glass recycling. And you know, they saw all those obstacles and they didn't wait for anyone to come and help them. That's what real leaders do. They don't wait for the right conditions. No, they create the right conditions in order to solve the problem they're facing. And here's what's fascinating. When you lead with purpose, when you lead with the why, people like Simon Sinek, that's his book, you know, Start With The Why. When you lead with the why, people don't question your purpose. They join in on your purpose because they see that you have a vision that needs to be solved, that needs to be attained, and they want to help you achieve it. That's what's really special about this story, because that's exactly what happened here. These students started in their backyard. But their backyard, not a fancy facility, not with millions in funding. Just think about that for a second. They started in their backyard, they started collecting glass, they started crushing them, and they started putting their theory to test to convert glass to sand, try to create a circular economy, because you know, sand is what's used to create glass in the first place. And you know what happened? People started joining in their why. People started understanding their why and believing in these students' why. Now here's where it gets interesting. So the thing is, when you start with your why to solve one problem, at the end you don't end up solving just one problem. You end up solving multiple problems at once. Because you see what happened in this case. New Orleans, besides the glass recycling problem, they also had a pretty major coastal erosion problem. They had a flooding problem, and in order to solve their flooding problem, they needed sand, and not just a little amount of sand. They needed millions of pounds of sand. And what happens when glass gets recycled? You can crush it down to sand that can be used in sandbags, and they help glass from not being sent to landfills, and also at the same time helped New Orleans resolve a flooding problem by providing millions of pounds of sand from millions of glass bottles. Now today, this company, Glass Half Full is what they're called, they process tens of thousands of glass every week, and that glass gets converted to sand, different types of sand, gravel, that can be used in a lot of different use cases, and that helps New Orleans and also helps create more businesses and employment. Here's the catch. They're not just in the glass recycling business, no. They're in the business of proving that change is possible when you lead with your purpose. And this matters. This matters because there's millions of problems waiting to be solved in every community, in every city, in every state, and waiting for those problems are waiting for someone to ask, why not us? The question isn't whether you can make a difference. The question is, why aren't you starting today? These students proved that change is possible without any authority, without millions in funding, without someone's permission to make the change happen. All you have to do is you have to understand your why. And maybe, just maybe, the most important lesson here is that the size of your impact isn't determined by the size of your resources or how much money you have or how much community power you have. The real difference and the real impact that you make is determined when you understand your purpose and when you understand your why and you take necessary steps toward it. Now, if you want to learn more about Glass Half Full, I'll be doing another video on every detail of their business and exactly how glass gets recycled and how that helps environment and how that helps from glass being sent to landfills. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and useful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you did.